Hi everybody, welcome to Michelle and Company. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great show today and our next guest is here with Tower Financial Strategies. Please welcome to the show, Michael Snow. Thank you so much for being here, Michael. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so you work with financial planning, financial strategies. Tell me a little bit about what you do in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. Well, we provide a service to the folks that we represent. It's a client-centered approach to planning so that we can make recommendations so our clients are comfortable with their current situation and what their goals and objectives are going to be.
Sure. Now, you kind of mentioned a little bit before the show that you are really client-focused and client-driven on what each individual needs. Tell me about that approach.
Wow, that approach is very involved in the fact that we have to get to know our clients. We need to be comfortable with where they're at because we can look at their data, their portfolios, and see where that's at. And everyone kind of has this coached persona of how they want their finances. So when we ask the questions, we find that whatever their current advisor or whoever they're working with has said, they kind of mirror that a little bit. So it's really important for us to get to know our clients because that in-depth knowledge of their personal situation allows us to give them different options as to how to reach their goals and objectives.
Sure, sure. I think financial planning can be such a daunting thing if you've never thought about what to do with money you may have or may not have.
Right.
What are kind of the first steps that you take people through when they sit down with you?
The first step is just to sit down like we are right now to get to know each other because really if you're working with an advisor you have to be comfortable with that individual and that person needs to be focused on you and not specific products that they may or may not have. So that first meeting is something that's very personal in nature. It's getting to know each other. Finding out, number one, if you can work with that individual is very important because we're talking about a long-lasting, almost lifetime worth of relationship there. Right? It's kind of like a marriage almost. Some people out there probably freaking out right now, but no, seriously, that's...
No, you're exactly right. Because I think that the work that they sit down and talk with you about, it will affect the course of their life. And
certainly.
My husband and I have done a little bit of it and we're kind of new to it, but you're right, it's a lifelong relationship. You want someone that you can trust because you're helping to shape their future in a very real way.
Yes.
So I know that you said you're not product driven and that is wonderful. What are some of the things that you do offer? Maybe someone's watching this and thinking, well, you know, I've thought about planning for retirement, I've thought about life insurance. What kind of things can they come to you for help?
Well, we run the entire gamut of financial products that are out there, whether it's investments or money management, even annuities in some situations, but life insurance as well. But what we do is make recommendations a little bit differently than others because we'll say, okay, we'll have a couple of options, in some cases 3 options, and we'll talk about the positives and negatives of each of that. And then our client or the people we represent drive that. Okay, where do you feel this going? You know, and that's how we tailor everything that we do.
Yeah, I'm sure having someone who has knowledge about the field and sitting down with them and hearing from them, but then helping to shape it into something that's actually profitable and usable for them in their future.
Certainly, and there's another aspect of that too. Some folks have things in their portfolio, they just don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I was put there, I don't know what this is. How does this work? And sometimes they just need a little explanation, and sometimes it's appropriate for their situation, sometimes it's not. But that little bit of education, I think, is important to what we do.
So helpful.
Certainly.
I feel like sometimes financial education is just something that you don't really get a lot of unless you're focused on it in your education or college, career. It's just really not something people know a lot about, but it affects so much of our lives.
Right. And that's an interesting point that you brought up too, because sometimes we're so focused on our specific situation that we're looking at it and we can see everything right here, but there is this wide array of things that are out here we're not seeing. And that's the job of your advisor, is to say, okay, look, now we've got this going very well, but let's take a look at what happens if. So that the things that you don't see are the things that can really hurt us in retirement years.
I read a quote just yesterday that said that the time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining. And I feel like it's so true when it comes to your financial health.
Oh,
not waiting until, oh no, everything's falling apart. What do I do now?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to fix the roof when you've got a 5-gallon bucket trying to catch the rain, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about some of the most, not popular, but some of the things that you help people with the most, that when they come to you and say, this is what I want help with, what are the things that you talk to people about the most?
Well, sometimes the folks that come in, they have an idea of what retirement's like, and sometimes they don't at all.
Right.
Well, we want to retire, but we don't know what retirement looks like. And sometimes we coach and really draw that out. So we have this idea of what retirement really is for each individual, because it's different for all of us.
Right.
Some of us may want to be on a beach for the rest of our lives. Some may want to spend time serving. So retirement is very different. So that coaching element, that's probably the biggest thing that we give our clients is helping define that.
I love that, and it's so important too.
Yes.
So what about debt management? Do you do anything with that, or planning on how to get rid of debt? I know just in our culture today, it's rampant, kind of.
Certainly.
Do you help people with that in any way?
We do a little bit. The biggest thing I've found is looking at the economics of today. I think there's only like 3.4 to 4% is actually going into savings today.
Wow.
And that is a scary, scary picture, right?
Yeah.
Because we should be, at the very minimum, saving about 10% for the future.
Right.
And that element is taken up by debt, living within our means. There's a certain aspect that we will approach with that, and that is important for the retirement years as well. So we do a little bit in that realm, but not a ton of it.
Sure. Well, Michael, we're out of time, but thank you so much for coming and sharing your heart. I think the thing I love the most is that you have such a heart for people and shaping their plan to what they need, and not just selling them a product. That's huge, and I appreciate you sharing your heart on that.
Well, thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. Well, how can people get in touch with you if they want to give you a call and maybe start working with you?
Well, our office number is 316-765-7738, and we have just moved our office, or in the process of moving our office to downtown Wichita for a little more easy access.
Yeah, central. That's great. And if they're interested, they can just give you a call and set up a time to talk.
Be happy to.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. All right, guys, keep watching. We'll be right back.